Welcome back to my channel. Today we explore the value of specific coin, the top 3 most valuable USA gold-plated $1 coins, value in today's market. So let's get started. First up, the gold-plated Millard Fillmore $1 coin, specifically, those dated between 1850 and 1853, with no mint mark and found in good condition. Before we get into the current market value, let's explore the background of the coin itself. Millard Fillmore served as the 13th President of the United States, holding office from 1850 to 1853. In 2010, the United States Mint released a series of presidential $1 coins honoring former presidents, and Fillmore was among them. These coins were part of a commemorative program and were produced for circulation, collectors, and special issue sets. It's important to understand, however, that while the coin may bear the years 1850 to 1853 to commemorate his time in office, it was not minted during that period. Rather, it was produced over 150 years later, and the year on the coin typically reflects the minting year, not the president's years in office. In the case of the Millard Fillmore coin, it was released by the U.S. Mint in 2010. The coin itself is not made of solid gold. Instead, it is composed primarily of manganese, which gives it a golden appearance. Some versions of these coins have been privately gold-plated after leaving the U.S. Mint. These gold-plated versions were often sold through mail-order offers, novelty coin packages, or souvenir sets, but they were never officially issued as gold coins by the U.S. Mint. This is crucial because, while they may appear golden and sometimes even advertised as rare collectibles, the plating is purely decorative and was not part of the official minting process. Now let's talk about the coin with no mint mark. The lack of a mint mark typically means the coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. For the Millard Fillmore presidential dollars, coins from Philadelphia generally do not carry a mint mark on the coin's obverse or reverse. Instead, the mint mark can usually be found on the coin's edge, along with the year and the motto. However, if you're looking at a gold-plated Millard Fillmore dollar with no visible mint mark at all, including none, the edge could be due to wear, polishing, or plating that has obscured those details. Collectors often ask how much such a coin is worth today, especially when found in circulated or good condition. In the case of a standard 2010 Millard Fillmore $1 coin in circulated or good condition, its face value remains $1. These coins were minted in the millions, and unless in pristine, uncirculated, or error condition, their value does not typically exceed their denomination. Even in uncirculated condition, straight from a mint roll, the value usually ranges from $1 to $3 at most, depending on the condition and demand. But when it comes to gold-plated versions, it's essential to understand that the aftermarket plating adds no numismatic value and, in many cases, may even detract from the coin's collectible appeal among serious numismatists. This is because the plating alters the original state of the coin, making it unsuitable for grading by professional coin certification services. While some gold-plated versions may be sold online for $5 to $10, their true value remains primarily not. In the eyes of seasoned collectors and dealers, such coins are considered altered and are generally not seen as more valuable than the unplated original versions. As of today's market, if you have a Millard Fillmore gold-plated presidential $1 coin from 2010 with no mint mark and it's in good condition, its value typically falls between $1 and $3 US. If it's heavily worn, it might only fetch its face value. If it's in mint condition, still in its original packaging, or part of a commemorative display, you might be able to sell it for up to $5 to the right buyer, mostly as a novelty item or keepsake. That being said, if you happen to come across an error coin such as one missing edge lettering, struck off-center, or double-stamped, those can be worth considerably more, depending on the rarity and visibility of the error. Some error coins have sold for $20 or more, but those cases are exceptions, not the rule. If you're holding on to a gold-plated Millard Fillmore dollar, hoping it's a rare find, it's best to temper your expectations. Unless it contains an unusual minting error or is part of a certified limited edition, it's unlikely to be worth more than a few dollars. Its primary value lies in its historical and novelty appeal, rather than its material worth or scarcity. In summary, the 1850 to 1853 Millard Fillmore gold-plated presidential dollar coin with no mint mark, found in good condition, typically has a market value of between $1 and $3 US as of today. If gold-plated, it may appeal to novelty collectors, but this aftermarket modification does not add true numismatic value. Next up, the gold-plated US $1 coin from 1869 and 1877, featuring the likeness of Ulysses S. Grant, with no mint mark, and preserved in good condition. To begin with, it's essential to clarify a few things. The United States Mint never officially produced a gold-plated $1 coin bearing the portrait of Ulysses S. Grant in the years 1869 or 1877. These coins are typically modern commemoratives or altered coins, created much later for collectors or novelty purposes. Often, they are standard-based metal coins that have been privately gold-plated and sold as collectibles. That said, any coin featuring Ulysses S. Grant with these years and a gold appearance is not a genuine U.S. Mint gold coin, but rather a post-mint alteration. However, there is still interest and market value in such coins, especially among collectors of political memorabilia or Civil War-era themed items. Now, let's talk a bit about Ulysses S. Grant himself. Grant was the commanding general of the Union Army during the American Civil War and later became the 18th President of the United States, serving from 1869 to 1877. Because of his historical significance, his image has appeared on various U.S. coins and commemorative issues. However, no official $1 coin with his portrait was minted in 1869 or 1877. The U.S. Mint did issue a Grant commemorative coin in 1922, and he has appeared on a few modern dollar coins, but those were all produced much later. So if you are holding a $1 coin that is gold-plated, dated 1869 or 1877, and features Ulysses S. Grant with no visible mint mark, what exactly do you have? In most cases, such a coin is part of a novelty or commemorative collection. Sold by private companies in the mid to late 20th century or early 21st century, the gold plating is not pure gold, but rather a thin layer applied for aesthetic value. Because these coins are not official U.S. Mint issues and have been altered after minting, they are not considered legal, tender, or rare numismatic coins in the traditional sense. That said, they can still hold value to the right collector. Now, regarding the market value, in today's collector market, a gold-plated Ulysses S. Grant $1 coin from 1869 or 1877, with no mint mark and in good condition, typically ranges in value from around $5 to $25. The exact price depends heavily on factors such as the quality of the gold plating, the condition of the coin, its origin, and any presentation materials that may come with it, such as certificates of authenticity, display cases, or part of a larger presidential collection set. For example, coins that are housed in official-looking presentation cases or part of a marketed collector's set often command slightly higher prices on auction platforms like eBay or collector forums. On the other hand, loose coins without packaging or documentation tend to sell for the lower end of that spectrum, sometimes even under $10. It's also worth noting that while the base coin may have no intrinsic gold value, since the plating is usually only a few microns thick, some people value them as keepsakes, especially if they are fans of American history, the presidency, or Ulysses S. Grant himself. If you are looking to sell such a coin, your best option would likely be online platforms such as eBay, Etsy, or dedicated coin collector groups. Describing the coin clearly, including its date, gold-plated appearance, lack of mint mark, and overall condition, will help attract the right kind of buyer. Keep in mind that because it is not a rare mint error or a precious metal piece, it will not fetch a high price in a traditional coin shop or from a bullion dealer. For those interested in collecting, it's important to approach such coins as pieces of Americana rather than serious investments. They're valued for their design, their historical subject, and their novelty, but they won't typically appreciate significantly in value over time. However, as with all collectibles, rarity and buyer interest can vary, so prices may shift in response to cultural trends or limited supply. To summarize, while a gold-plated Ulysses S. Grant $1 coin dated 1869 or 1877 with no mint mark and in good condition is not a rare or valuable numismatic piece, in the strictest sense, it does hold collectible value. Today, its worth in the collector's market usually falls between $5 and $25, depending on presentation and condition. It remains a fascinating item for those interested in historical commemoratives and American presidential memorabilia. Next up, the gold-plated $1 coin featuring James K. Polk, the 11th President of the United States, dated between 1845 and 1849, and carrying no mint mark. We're going to talk about its design, history, composition, and most importantly, its actual value in today's collector market, particularly in extra-fine condition. So let's get started. First, let's clarify what kind of coin this is. When people hear gold-plated $1 coin from 1845 to 1849, it's easy to assume they're dealing with a rare, historic piece, minted during Polk's actual presidency. However, that is not the case. The United States Mint did not produce any $1 coins bearing the image of James K. Polk during his lifetime. In fact, the coin that we're discussing today is part of a much more recent commemorative or novelty series. This particular coin is not an official issue from the U.S. Mint standard coinage at the time of James K. Polk's presidency. Rather, it is typically a modern presidential dollar coin that has been privately gold-plated and customized. The presidential $1 coin program, which began in 2007 and ended in 2016, was authorized by Congress to honor past presidents. Each coin in the series features a portrait of a U.S. president on the obverse side, with the reverse displaying the Statue of Liberty. The coin honoring President James K. Polk was released as part of this series in the year 2009. These coins were minted in large quantities and were made from a composition of manganese brass, not solid gold. Any version of this coin that appears to be gold is almost certainly a regular mint issue that has been plated with a thin layer of gold by a private company or individual. This means that while they may have visual appeal, they are not rare, nor are they considered more valuable by serious numismatists simply because they have been gold. In fact, the U.S. Mint does not recognize or endorse any aftermarket alterations to its coins, including gold plating. Now, let's focus on the specifics. A James K. Polk $1 coin, minted in 2009, gold-plated by a private party, with no mint mark and an extra fine condition. In coin grading. Extra fine generally refers to a coin that shows only light wear on the highest points of the design. It still retains most of its original detail and luster, but it clearly shows some signs of circulation. However, when we're talking about modern presidential dollars, especially ones that have been altered post-mint, like being gold-plated, alone doesn't significantly increase their monetary value. Collectors typically look for coins that are either uncirculated or have rare minting errors. Coins in the extra fine grade do not generally command high premiums, especially if they are from a widely available modern series. Furthermore, the lack of a mint mark suggests that the coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which produced millions of these coins. That further reduces any rarity factor that might influence value. So, what does this all mean for the market value? Despite their shiny appearance and perceived uniqueness, gold-plated presidential dollars generally sell for modest sums. They are often sold as novelty items or collectibles, rather than serious numismatic pieces. On online marketplaces such as eBay or collector forums, a gold-plated James K. Polk $1 coin in extra fine condition typically sells for anywhere between $1 to $5. Some sellers may ask more, even $20, but the market demand simply doesn't support those prices on a consistent basis. It's worth noting that the gold plating adds little to no intrinsic value. The layer of gold used in such plating is extremely thin, measured in microns, and does not equate to any significant gold weight. The actual melt value of the gold is negligible. Therefore, the price of gold has virtually no effect on the value of this coin. In summary, while the 2009 James K. Polk presidential $1 coin may be an interesting piece to add to a themed collectionist, especially if you're collecting all the presidential dollars, it does not hold significant value from a numismatic perspective, particularly when it has been gold-plated post-mint and is in circulated or extra fine condition. To put it plainly, its value today is primarily sentimental or aesthetic. If you already own one, it's a fun piece of Americana to display. But if you're thinking of investing in coins, it would be better to focus on unaltered, mint-state examples with low mintages, or older historic coins with intrinsic metal value or verified rarity. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more coin collecting content. See you in next time. Happy collecting!